Thank you for joining us on this Memorial Day edition of the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Nikki Maduro. She's Kim McAllister. I'm raising a glass to everyone that served our country and gave the ultimate sacrifice on this Memorial Day. So from us to all of you and family, cheers. And yes, there's booze in this. All right, so it is Memorial Day. We have quite some stories to tell. We're going to get some news, some commentary out of the way. Please make sure you have subscribed and hit that thumbs up button. It's always fun to plan these shows and then Kim goes, oh, I have a crazy story about prom and a steamer. And then I write back to you, Kim. I'm like, okay, well, then I have my home burglary story to tell you.
I mean, this has been an exciting weekend for us.
It's been an exciting weekend. So we'll get to those stories. So stay with us. Don't go anywhere. But I do want to get some, more serious, although our stories seem to be quite serious, serious stories out of the way. And a lot of you guys were traveling over the Memorial Day holiday, whether it was by car or by plane. But this story, Kim, came out last week. And this has to do with American Airlines. I don't know if you've seen the latest, though. But American Airlines today, it broke to me, or actually confirmed on Friday, so never mind, that they are splitting from their law firm over this story of a 9-year-old girl who apparently was videotaped or filmed inside a bathroom on an American Airlines flight.
By, I believe, was it American Airlines staff member who placed the video in there?
Some sort of stewardess or pardon me, flight attendant. Yeah, steward. I'm flabbergasted that this could happen.
Let's just recap.
Yes, please.
A male flight attendant.
Yes.
Puts a video camera in the lavatory. A child goes in and uses the restroom.
Right.
Figures out that somehow they've been taped and it's the child's fault?
It's the child's fault. So I'm going to show you this picture.
Nope, never.
So now this is what the bathroom toilet looked like on the airplane. It says seat broken. Now, obviously you can see that there's something behind it. Okay. Now, apparently, according to the law firm that is no more with American Airlines, they had basically said that the girl could be blamed, quote, on her fault and negligence for using the lavatory, which she knew or should have known contained a visible and illuminated recording device. What you see on your screen right here.
She's 9.
She's 9. Now, a former American flight attendant is accused of luring girls to use that lavatory after taping his iPhone to the toilet seat and explaining that the seat was broken. Estes Carter Thompson III was fired by American Airlines, pleaded not guilty to attempted sexual exploitation of children and possession of images of child sexual abuse.
Oh, gross.
Apparently, the 9-year-old girl's family sued American in court in Texas after the FBI told them that videos of the girl were found on the flight attendant's phone. And then they said, a lawyer for the girl's family said, with the benefit of this new legal representation, we hope American Airlines will now take a fresh look at the case. Now, something that, my first question was, at what age? And now this is a plain bathroom. I mean, there's barely room for one person, let alone an adult going with somebody. I don't know if I've ever checked an airplane bathroom before my kid went into it.
I would hope. No, usually
you
at
just let
9,
them go.
You would let them go by themselves.
Exactly.
But I don't care what age you are. You're not necessarily, most of us, looking around for a video camera.
No.
You expect when you go into a restroom, that's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
A restroom, cut and dried. Now, if you happen to see something that's awry, that's one thing.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe because of all the news stories, you and I are looking around a little bit, but I don't think most people do that.
No.
In addition, I think this was a type of defense that the law firm representing United was trying to this is their only defense. It's the kid's fault. And if that's the only defense that your attorney has for your airline, I think you need a new attorney.
Yeah. You basically just need to be, oh my God, we can't believe we hired this
a bunch of
flight
buffoons.
attendant. Exactly. That would do something like this. Nobody noticed the guy taping a phone. I mean, what kind of safeguards should there be in place in a situation like that? I mean, every 5 seconds, on some flights, somebody's using the bathroom, going back and forth, going back and forth. I don't want any cameras in the bathroom. I mean, I don't even know if you know the answer to this. Do airlines have cameras, like surveillance cameras inside planes? I don't think so.
I don't think so. They have a smoke sensor.
Yeah.
Right? If you go smoke in the lavatory, then it can pick up the smoke and then it's alerted to somewhere else. But I don't think they have video cameras in the bathrooms.
Exactly.
Unless there's something secret on planes we don't know about.
I mean, again, and obviously many planes are different. But again, I think that any parent, especially a parent with young children, I'll be definitely thinking twice. Be like, make sure you don't see anything weird in there. Although I feel like in our business, Kim, don't we like warn our kids about everything that they don't? Like, I'm like, stories I hear in the news.
Seriously, there's a file. The file. What are you going to go do today? Let me look up random weird situation.
Exactly.
Oh, here's what can happen bad to you here.
Exactly.
Here's the bad things that can go on. Yeah.
Well, and my parents, they, thankfully just came home this weekend from their 3-week-long vacation to South Africa.
How did it go?
There were ups, there were downs. It's definitely a trip that they will never forget.
Okay.
But speaking of airlines, I mean, they flew on, which I've never been on because I've never flown to South Africa.
Yeah.
They flew on Turkish Air.
I've heard that's a great airline.
Oh my God. They had the chef, all white coat and hat, come out, take their order.
Wow.
They have the seats that like lay all the way flat. You know what I mean? They gave me and my kids the toiletry case that they give out to every person. Has a sleep mask. Wow. I've never gone on a fancy enough vacation to fly on an airline, but that's the way I want to go if I'm flying for 21 freaking hours on an airplane. Yeah. They actually came in after all of the ups and downs of this trip. They actually came back an hour early. Their flight was an hour early. Thank God I checked because I was their pickup. But it was from Istanbul to San Francisco. They made good time, caught that current, I guess, and got in an hour early, but they did really well. But I don't know if they have better lavatories or how big their bathrooms are compared to, Southwest, which is what I'm flying on. But I'll be definitely checking out if my kid is going in after somebody.
I have a feeling, and I don't know this to be true, so please tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. I'll review. But I feel like breaking laws like this in America, it's a serious crime, right?
Gosh, yeah.
Possessing
child pornography,
images,
yes,
right. But in Turkey or in Muslim countries, perhaps that's even more serious. So I don't know if that happens on Turkish Air, what the penalty would be, but I'm thinking maybe a lot more than America. I don't know.
Exactly. I would have to say so.
Sometimes it feels like we don't take crimes against women and children seriously.
Exactly. I don't think so either. I mean, I kind of feel like, well, not that we don't take it seriously, but we have to have harsh punishments, and then we have to follow through with the harsh punishments. We hear about these stories like, and I've never seen it happen. You're going to get your hand cut off if you steal, those sorts of things. I think if you see it happen once, you're like, there is no freaking way I'm stealing anything, right? like I'm not going to be that dude over there.
Not that I'm advocating that draconian of a punishment, but yeah.
But for instance, and I don't know if I told you this off air, and I don't think she's going to mind that much. My mom was robbed her first week in South Africa.
Yeah.
She was walking down the street. Now, again, the punishment, right? They even shared, like, okay, so my mom's walking down the street and she was just wearing a chain. Thankfully, she told me she had kind of switched off the medallion to something that wasn't really that expensive or sentimental before she went on vacation. But this guy just yanked it off. Now, I love my parents. My dad's almost 84 years old, but he went chasing after the guy.
Oh, my God, no.
I was wearing flip-flops, as if he wasn't wearing or sandals, that he would have caught the guy and done something. I'm like, 84 years old, whatever. But anyways, he's like, I've never seen this before. He's like, the guy ran across the street, and these bystanders who saw what happened tackled the guy.
Wow.
And beat the living crap out of him.
Seriously?
I mean, publicly. Now, can you imagine if here in America, you know how we have the retail theft, if instead of everybody just watching the person walk out with stuff,
going, hey, did you see that guy? Yeah.
You beat the I mean, and my dad even said, he's like, we don't, like, he had to stop him. He's like, okay, like, we don't want
a chain. Like, it was not
a chain.
Worth
Like,
a lot.
They couldn't find it on the guy, and so they assumed that he swallowed it.
Ooh.
But like, he's like, they kicked, they were beating this. And my dad's like, okay, it's just a chain. We don't need to take it this far. And so the guy stopped, and I don't know what happened to the guy after that. But could you imagine if that happened here, and if you thought about stealing and you knew that the crowd, and I'm not advocating for this, but I'm just saying, if we lived in a society, obviously the guy still stole the chain, so it hasn't been that much of a deterrent.
Well, but if it did,
might be to other people, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Imagine being desperate enough to snatch a chain off a woman's neck and then swallow it.
Right.
And put yourself at risk because if anyone sees you, you're going to get a whooping.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a normal thing. I'm not going to say that that's a normal thing in South Africa. That was just that was what happened in that instance. But it would definitely give me pause to do something like that. So anyways, they did have a good trip. They said
did it leave a mark on her neck?
Not that I saw. And it was like the first week she was there and they were gone for 3 weeks. But all they could also say, the nicest freaking people in South Africa. Wow. I mean, the people that lived there were so nice. Mm-hmm. The only thing that my dad didn't like was, he's like, the meat's just not as good there. He's like, the steak was tough. I'm like, okay, well, that's a thing to complain about, I guess. Yeah. But they had a great time. They went on a safari. They saw the lions and the giraffes with their necks entwined. And I mean, just coming up. My mom was a little freaked out, though. One of the places they were staying at was an open resort. So like the animals could just come in. And so she's
That's cool.
Sitting there like a monkey jumps down and steals her toast. You know what I mean? Like, which is cool. You know what I mean?
That's why you go on that kind of vacation to have those experiences.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it might freak me out just because I'm a total freaking wuss about stuff. But yeah, so they had a great time. I'm so happy that they're home. But yeah, it was definitely quite the adventure for my family.
I love it.
It was great. Okay, another thing that happened over the weekend was the Libertarian National Convention, which honestly doesn't get that much attention.
We never hear about it because it's not usually very exciting.
Well, and so there was some excitement because Donald Trump showed up trying to convince them to get to nominate him. But apparently he was not their choice. I'm going to show you this video. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was apparently the choice to receive the nomination. The guy couldn't be bothered to even show up. Okay.
Don't they have their own Libertarian candidate?
I don't know. I mean, RFK Jr.
Because RFK Jr. is running as an independent, not as a Libertarian. Right?
So maybe that's why. But I mean, you would still think like, I won't turn down the nomination of Libertarians.
Sure.
If Libertarians want to vote for me.
Right.
Sure. I'll take your, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I am an independent, but sure, I'll take your votes. I would be an idiot not to. So Here's a video. Apparently, he wasn't there. So the crowd was like, call him and see if he'll accept it.
Madam Chair, Mike 2.
Okay, so this woman's on the phone.
Point of order, madam.
The woman, the head of the, I guess, convention, is calling RFK.
Well, let's get there first and see if he picks up.
Let's see if he picks up, okay? Ring, 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 ring. Let's see. Now, she does it off mic, so I'll kind of I'll voice it. Come on. Let's go.
Ringing.
Ringing. Oh, here we go. Good morning. I'm at the podium, and we wanted to ask you if you want to accept the nomination. And then he says, are you at the podium? I'm not on the microphone, but I'm at the podium. And then there's a long, and I'm going to fast forward it. So I can't really quite understand. So then this woman's frustrated. Watch.
Can the chair pass the gavel and we can move on to other nominations while this call is happening?
She's like, hold on. Hold on, here it goes. Look at her face. She's like, okay, if that's what you want me to say, I guess I'll say that. And this has to be extremely embarrassing to stand on the podium and say this.
Oh my God.
He's going to get back to us.
Madam Chair, Mike 2.
So I'll take that as a no. I mean,
wah, 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 wah,
wah. Okay, so that was RFK, who apparently did not want to give an answer right away. He is running as an independent. Eventually, though, accepted the nomination. He released a short video statement where he said it was an unexpected honor. He said, quote, I'm very grateful to the Libertarian Party for this great honor. I look forward to an alliance across the country, a fusion alliance for all these independent parties who are now challenging the Republican, Democrat, corrupt duopoly, whatever. And then Trump. Now, I'm going to preface this just with some sort of analysis that I've been hearing over the weekend following the video that I'm about to show you, is that the libertarians like to view themselves like one guy got up on the podium and said he had just eaten edibles, right? Like there are these pot smoking, quote unquote, libertarians who just like to benefit from everything that comes from the two-party system, but likes to say that they don't support it. Like whatever. Okay. But here is Trump. He doesn't get the warmest welcome, but according to some analysis, him and his team was actually expecting this kind of response. Here we go. Oh, darn it. I'm going to see an ad, aren't I?
That's all right.
But anyway, so he was there. He was giving a speech. Now, it was largely friendly. There were some people that were saying, oh, my God, he blew it out of the park. But here we go. Let's go. Here we go.
Will address the Libertarian Party and its national convention on Saturday. The Libertarian Party should nominate Trump for President of the United States. Whoa. That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win.
Only if you want to win.
Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Thank you, D-Roy.
And can I just say, like, become ungovernable as their like kind of slogan is so, and I'm not knocking libertarians. I get it. You want liberty. You want the government out of your life. That ship is freaking sailed. So you're really just like yelling into the void. I mean, to become ungovernable is to support anarchy. Okay. Right. Like, in my opinion, like there needs to be some government, right? There needs to be some government. And I know that the libertarians, they believe in some things and not others, but it just is.
Right. No, only do that if you want to win. If you want to lose, don't do that.
No. You lose
Keep
if you
getting
don't.
your 3% every 4 years. The reasons for doing so, policy and
Yeah, so basically he's like reading this article about how fabulous he is, and I'm just like, whatever. So
they did not go for it.
No, but they did say, like, libertarians were saying, like, go and boo, challenge him. Yeah. Don't just like be, clapping and kind of bending the knee a la Nikki Haley and every other conservative, but like challenge him, and that's why there was a lot of booing, apparently.
From what I understand, that at the beginning of that appearance that you saw there, the front row was stacked with Trump people. The Trumpy people showed up and they were sitting in the front, and the libertarian group said, this is our nominating convention. You need to move back and let the libertarians be in the front so they can participate in this event.
Right.
And so they tried to get the libertarians up front, but libertarians were not happy from the get-go with what was going on with the Trump people that showed up.
Well,
he only spoke for 34 minutes, which is very, very rare, because usually at a Trump rally or a Trump speech like this, he goes on and on and on. So that booing really must have affected him, because he was in and he was out.
Well, he doesn't like to be booed. He doesn't like to be booed. And just to remind, well, exactly. But I mean, tomorrow the closing arguments in the hush money case are set to begin. I'll have some analysis a little bit beforehand, because again, we don't know. Although it is looking like many think he will be not acquitted. But what is he really going to get? We don't know. Is he going to serve any jail time? We don't know. So we'll discuss that. But I want to get into kind of our stories of this weekend. And I hope everyone has had a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous Memorial Day. Prom story or house burglary story? Which do you want to hear first?
Prom story, because it will allow me to put the ice back on my head, which is on fire.
Oh, no. Okay. So with the ice on your head, Kim McAllister, what happened?
Okay, I have this steamer. Granted, a few years ago, I got rid of my iron because I never used it. But I thought, and I used it a long time ago, before college, when I was a teenager. I worked at a clothing store.
Okay.
And I would steam the clothes, and it always worked so well, and I loved it. So here's what my steamer looks like. It's a nice one. I bought it maybe 10 years ago. It's a Jiffy 2.
Okay. It looks gigantic. So it's not like one of those handheld ones you see in the hotel.
No, it's the same kind I used at the store where I worked. It's an industrial kind of steamer.
Oh.
And I thought, well, I'm not going to ever use my iron again. I'm only going to steam things. So I'm going to get a good one that's going to last forever.
Perfect.
Okay. So I buy the steamer, and I know how it works.
Okay.
So today, and it was, I haven't used it since pre-pandemic. There's been no need to steam or iron anything in this house.
We're not going anywhere.
No, not going anywhere. So I haul it out of the garage and I put it in the kitchen, and I'm telling my husband I need the funnel so I can pour water. Now, I don't know if you can see on the side of this thing, there's a little strip.
Okay.
And it's the water fill line. So there's like a line, you only really fill it halfway. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you don't need a funnel. I'll just fill it for you. And I turn away and I don't think about telling him, you don't fill it all the way.
Oh,
all right. So my mistake. This whole thing is my fault. And he's trying to be helpful.
Yes.
So he fills it and he says, oh, see, I filled it so much without spilling. You can even see the water underneath. And I still don't say anything. I thought, all right, whatever. And I screw the cap on and I wait. And
for it to warm up.
Wait and I wait and I wait. And usually within maybe 10 minutes, I'm getting steam. And it's been 20 minutes and I'm getting nothing.
Because it's too much water to warm up. Okay.
Well, I'm thinking it's broken. That it's been long since I've used this thing that it's just toast. But I still wait because I've got a prom dress I need to steam. Julia's going to the senior prom as a friend with one of the girls in band.
Okay.
And the dress needs to be steamed.
Okay.
And so finally I see the hose move. And Jacob's at the kitchen table eating blueberries. And I'm sitting there waiting for the steam to come out. I see the hose move and I think, oh, okay, here comes the steam. And all of a sudden, boiling water starts shooting out of the top of this. And you can see how it kind of snakes up and the top of the steamer hangs on a hook. It flies off the top and it's flicking around the kitchen like a snake, shooting boiling water everywhere. So Jacob runs out of the kitchen because I'm like, get out. And I try to pick it up. And boiling water shoots me right in the forehead. No. I'm hoping you can't see today how red my head is.
I don't notice it.
It just hit me for a second, and then I drop it, and so it's still flicking all over the kitchen. Finally, I grab it, and I put it in the sink while I turn off the thing. It turns out that it was overfilled, so we poured some out. It was fine. I ended up being able to steam the dress with ice on my head at the time. But man, does this hurt? I don't know if it's going to blister or what, but I totally burned myself.
Keeping the ice on it.
The prom dress steamer incident of 2024.
I would say so.
And you wouldn't believe, like, water all over my kitchen. What a mess.
It reminds me, do you ever see that movie, Mr. Mom, from back in the day with Michael Keaton? Do you ever see that? Anyways, anybody that's seen it, there's like this scene where he has the vacuum cleaner takes on a mind of its own. It's like sucking up the curtains and everything. I just like, that's the only image I have of like you with this like hose of boiling water all over the friggin' place. Oh, my poor Cam. That sucks.
I'm totally fine. The problem is like if after it gets too cold for a second.
Yeah, it's like burning yourself. Yes.
And then afterward, the skin, I think, is still really hot. And this happened like maybe a half hour before we went on the air together. So I was like, Jesus, what happened to you? Your house got broken into?
I'm just going to say that I am a brave human being. And sometimes, I'm going to set this up for you. So she just left. My friend Jen, she's my friend from Idaho. She came in Thursday. And, I'm going to be full disclosure. I live very, very close to my parents' house. Okay. Very close. Okay. Yeah. Within walking distance. And because of this, and because I live in San Jose, I am the contact if an alarm at their house goes off. Okay. So in addition to them getting notified, I get notified.
Sure.
So picture this. Me and my very, very longtime friend sitting at my house. Now, I was not drunk. I'm just going to be completely honest with this. I was having probably starting my second cocktail. We were sitting at the table, shooting the shit. Okay. But just, probably like happy, but totally not over the legal limit. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
I'd had one cocktail. And so you have to, the only reason I'm telling you this is because it's the comedy later on. Okay. So I'm sitting there. It's probably 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And I get an alert on my phone that the alarm at my parents' house has gone off. I'm thinking.
And they're not home yet.
No, they're still in South Africa.
Okay.
And so I'm like, shoot. I'm like, so I look at Jen, I'm like, you want to go over there and just see what's going on? Because, one, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this, but let's go over there and see what's going on. So we pull up. And now, just to kind of set the scene, they do not live in a bad neighborhood. Okay. I maintain it had it been kids or something. This was not a professional thing. Okay. So anyways, we show up and it's dark. I'm fumbling for the house keys, I'm trying to get it in. And Jen just presses the handle down. She's like, well, let me see if it's locked. And the door opens. I am so shocked because I was the last one there because I went to water their plants, right? Yeah. And I know I locked the front door because they have a Ring camera and they're in South Africa, so I assumed they would check it. And so I even looked as I was locking it. I was like, I'm locking the door. Hope you're having fun. Like I did this whole thing that I totally remember doing, right?
Sure.
I am so shocked, Kim. I've never been in a situation in which.
Do you go in? Because now there could be creepy people in there.
Right. And it's dark. Okay. Like no lights are on. And the alarm is hanging from the wall.
No.
And I'm like, so then I don't know what to do. I don't know
911.
We're getting there. Okay. So Jen and I, Dumb and Dumber over here, just getting here. And all of a sudden, I'm not going to yell, but I'm going to I go, police, get out of my house.
You're not supposed to impersonate the cops. Got it. Okay.
And Jen's correct. She's like, you're not the police. And she's like, let's get in the car right now. And I was like, get out of my house, get out of my house. And so we just run to my car. We get in the car. And we're in the driveway. And we're sitting there. We call 911. Now, going back to my disclosure. So I'm sitting on the car. And I'm getting like my breath spray out of my thing because I'm afraid the cops are going to come and for some reason arrest me because I've had a cocktail. Okay.
Like I only had one drink though so far.
Who knows what my breath smells like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there on 911 spraying Banaka in my freaking mouth. Okay. They never come, by the way. I mean, they did, but not while we were there because it's not life or death. But anyway, so I didn't have to worry about the cops anyway. So I'm sitting there. The story doesn't end here. So we're sitting there, and I'd called my husband who was not at home, right? And so he's like, get a neighbor. And I was like, why? Why do I need to get a neighbor at 10:30 at night to stand with me? Like, they're not a cop either, right? Then we get a hair up our ass to go.
Power in numbers?
Okay, so we decide to go stake out the place, like to check the rest of the house, okay? The side
You go
gate.
into the house? There could have been people with guns and weaponry.
Okay, so I really don't think that anybody was there. So we yelled, we did the cops thing. I know, I knew I was gonna get vilified. So we go around the side of the house. The side gate's open, shocked, right? I'm like, oh, this is how they got in. So then Jen's trying to grab a rock and a bottle out of our recycling can, right? She's like, get a weapon. And I'm like, get a weapon for what? What am I going to do? Go to hand-to-hand combat with this dude? These are the conversations we're actually having, right? So if there's somebody there, they're totally laughing their asses off at us. And this was stupid. Don't do this, kids. Like, this was the wrong thing to do. And so we go around the back. We don't know how they got into the house. They got in through one of the doors. The minute we step into the house, the alarm goes off again. So it's like shaking us to our core. My husband had called one of our neighbors, so they had come over to help us out. Good part of the story, 0 was taken. Nothing.
Wow. Okay.
So what we think happened is someone, and I think it might have been teenagers. I don't know. I'm just blaming teenagers because it's easy. This was not a professional. Nothing was broken. Nothing was stolen. I think they went through the back. The alarm went off. They ran out the front door. That's what I think happened. Okay. Because nothing else was taken. Thank God. But,
are you sure your mom's jewelry is okay? Like,
yeah. I mean, now that they're home, they've checked everything. It's good.
Okay.
But moral of my story is I think that I was kind of brave pretending to be a police officer.
I think you were a badass and a misplaced badass. Because what if something had happened to you? What if someone came running down the stairs with a gun or something?
It wasn't like honestly, Kim, it was just in the split second. Like I looked and the alarm was there and it was so dark. And I felt like I needed to say something. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand. Yeah.
I was like, get out of my house, police. Like, I don't know why I said that I was the police, but I felt like if I said that I was the police, that they would take my next statement very seriously, which was get out of my house, which makes no sense if I was the police. But yeah, it all worked out. I'm still alive. But don't do that.
Get out of
that was
my
probably
house.
Really stupid.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. Definitely
scary.
Definitely scary. You know what I mean? But I will say, I definitely think that the alarm at the house made all of the difference in the world. I mean, that alarm shakes you to your core.
Absolutely.
When it went off again, it's like ear splitting, oh my God. And so I think they tried to probably,
I'm surprised the neighbors didn't hear it and come out to investigate or see what's going on.
That's what I was thinking too.
Because the neighbors have to know your parents are on vacation, right?
Right. But again, if the neighbors next to, and it's a holiday weekend though, so they might not even be home.
Gone.
And I mean, yes, it's loud, but I mean, if you're in your own house and a couple doors down, maybe not. And then it becomes like, I don't know, like a car alarm. I don't know. Maybe some people thought that. I don't know. It worked out. I'm very, very happy it worked out.
You really are a badass. I really have to tell you. You really are.
No, I'm a dumbass. Dumbass.
It's a mixture of the two, perhaps, but I'm going with badass.
There we go. All right. I'll go with it. Done. I know I'm going to get so many comments from people like, that was the worst thing you could post. I know. You know,
it reminds me of Jenna Lane and an old KGO story at a protest where she's on the air live, and we used to use cell phones. Mm-hmm. We used to use these cell phones, and we'd be on the air. An old iPhone. And they had all kinds of like audio editing programs on them loaded and everything. And so she's on the air live talking into her cell phone, and some thief runs by and snatches it right out of her hand. And she says, "Stop, thief!" Yes. And she chases the guy down and gets her phone back. Like, she's not going to let that phone go. So she's running after him, grabs the person, gets her phone back. And everyone's like, you could have done like anything. Exactly.
Let's see, going back to the beginning of the show. What did those people do in South Africa? They beat the living crap out of that one guy, but he's going to think twice before doing nothing. My situation is teaching anybody anything except myself to not do that ever again. But I'm very, you know, in the split second, you kind of do what you do. And that was my initial reaction, is to fake being a police officer.
Hey, you know what? Whatever works for you.
Whatever works. All right. So tomorrow we're gonna get a little bit of analysis. We'll talk a little bit about the closing arguments in Trump's hush money case. Let me know in the comments how you think it's going to turn out and what you think needs to happen to change any possible Trump voter's mind to not vote for him. If he stays out of jail, even if he gets some sort of conviction, but if he doesn't go to jail, will it matter? So we'll talk about that. And we'll also talk about the fact of how do we unite the country as Americans? Because there's one asshat who's admitted, drunkenly, of course, that it's part of the problem, that he, in what he does and what he says, is also dividing this country. And should we kind of stop doing that and get back to the business of being one nation, right? All Americans. So we'll talk about that. All right, you guys, click the thumbs up button. Show your support for the show. Also, our Patreon is live. We can't continue doing the show without the financial support of each and every one of you. So if you could, please go to thenikkimadoroshow.com and donate whatever you can. And if you're already an official Madorable, which is what we call you, and you could bump it up a couple bucks a month, we would really, really appreciate it because we need it to continue doing the show. PayPal, also an option. Go to paypal.com, hit the send button, and then put in the email address, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com. And a big thank you to one of our viewers, Dan. I'm showing the picture because he sent it to me, so that just means I can show it. Dan has bought one of our sponsors hot sauces. He got the pineapple kind that I absolutely adore. Go to antitabbies.com and click and use the coupon code NickKim and be just like Dan there. They have hot sauces. How cute is he?
Look at that.
I know. Look how cute he is. They have that hot sauce, the pineapple hot sauce. They also have a hibiscus one and a barbecue sauce that's guava flavored. It is so good. The coupon code NickKim, NickKim, gets you 10% off each and every order. And thank you, Dan, so much for supporting our sponsor and each and every one of you for supporting us each and every day. We appreciate it, and we need your guys' support, so thank you. All right, we will talk tomorrow. The closing arguments in the hush money case begin. Have a great day. Happy Memorial Day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.